In the name of God, in this session we want to continue another feature of corpus data. About the selection of time span. Language changes with time. So, determination of particular time span is required to capture the feature of a language or a variety reflected within a specific time span. Language changes with time, and determination of particular time span is required to capture the features of a language or a variety reflected within a specific time span. A corpus should attempt to capture a particular period of time with a clear time indicator. A corpus should attempt to capture a particular period of time with a clear time indicator. For instance, the text materials produced and published between the year 1981 and 1995 are included in the TDIL corpus with an assumption that the data will sufficiently represent the nature and character of use of the language as noted within this time span. It is also hoped that this database will provide faithful information about the changes taking place within this period. Okay, this is very important. You determine your time period and your time span, because in each period of time we have a different feature for each corpus. About the selection of text type. An important issue in text corpus generation is to determine if it will contain written text of all types. An important issue in text corpus generation is to determine if it will contain written text of all types. Most of the corpora incline towards written text of standard writings. The aim of a general corpus is to identify what are the central or common and typical or special to a language. Therefore, it is sensible to build a corpus with all kinds of text of contemporary writings, where a measured and proportional representation will suffice. To be realistic, we should include works of the mass of ordinary writers along with works of established and well-known writers. Thus, a corpus will contain a collection of texts taken from all possible branches of human knowledge. Okay, your written text should be from all of the branches of human knowledge. A corpus will contain a collection of texts taken from all possible branches of human knowledge. Here, the writing of highly reputed authors as well as of little-known writers are of equal importance. We don't difference between the famous authors and the non-famous authors and writers in the writing corpus, writing text in corpus. The catalogs and a list of publication of different publishing houses needs to be consulted for collection of source materials like books, newspapers, magazines, journals, and etc. For text selection and collection. A corpus which gathers text from various sources and disciplines where individuality of particular source is made obscure is broadly heterogeneous in nature. In a sense, diversity is a safeguard to corpus against any kind of skewed text representation. You should know just the important just the important matter and notes in each paragraph, and there is a need to write and to summarize all of this matter. For example, here you should know that our writing text should be from all ranges and branches of knowledge, and we shouldn't difference between the famous and not famous writers, and our written source can be books, newspaper, magazine, journal. You should just point to those important notes in each paragraph. The TDIL Bengali corpus contains texts from literature 20%, fine arts 5%, social sciences 15%, natural sciences 15%, commerce 10%, mass media, certain purpose and translation 5%. Each category has some categories. Like literature includes novel, short stories, essay, etc. Fine arts include painting, drawing, music, sculpture, etc. Social science includes philosophy, history, education. Natural science include physics, chemistry, mathematics, geography. Mass media includes newspapers, magazines, posters, notices, advertisement. Commerce includes accountancy, banking. The translation includes all subjects translated into Bengali. Here you can see that we have different text writing from different branches of knowledge, and because as I told you, your writing text should be from all branches of knowledge, which you can see its example in TDIL Bengali corpus. About the method of data sampling. Text data has to be sampled and selected from the collected source materials according to the need on an investigator. Sampling of data can be random. It is the feature of sampling of data. It should be random, regular, or selective. There are various ways for data sampling to ensure maximum representativeness of text in a corpus. We must clearly define the kind of language we want to study before we define the sampling procedures for the corpus. However, random sampling is a good technique that can save a corpus from being skewed and unrepresentative. We have used this technique for developing the TDIL corpus of Indian languages. This is a standard technique which is widely used in many areas of natural and social sciences. Okay, this way is common for natural and social sciences. I repeat it again. Here in this paragraph, we read the natural, we read the technique which is common for natural and social sciences. Text data has to be sampled and selected from the collected source materials according to the need on an investigator. Sampling of data can be random, regular, or selective. We have three kinds of sampling data. There are various ways for data sampling to ensure maximum representativeness of text in a corpus. Therefore, in your corpus, the data in your corpus should be representative. We must clearly define the kind of language we want to study before we define the sampling procedure for the corpus. However, Random sampling. Okay, we as I told you, we have three kind of sampling of data, which is random, regular, or selective. But here, the random sampling is a good technique that can save a corpus from being skewed and unrepresentative. We have used this technique for developing TDIL corpus of Indian language. Okay, the sampling of data in TDIL is a random one. And this is a standard for the natural and social sciences. Another approach is to define a sampling frame based on the nature of a study. Another approach is to define a sampling frame based on the nature of a study. Designers of the Brown corpus, for example, adopted this. They defined a sampling frame based on the nature study. They used all books, periodical, magazines, journal, and other texts published in a particular year. Okay, the first step was to collect books, periodicals, magazines, journals, and other texts published in particular year. This written corpus was made up with texts of different genres, such as newspaper reports, romantic fictions, legal status, scientific writing, social sciences, technical reports, and so on. Another reliable way is to use the complete bibliographical index available in a language. For instance, the British National Bibliography and the Willings Press Guide are used for generation the Lancaster Oslo Bergen corpus. Okay, one of this reliable way is to complete the bibliographical index available in each language, which you can see their example. Another subtitle is method of data input. Okay, we have data from electronic sources. Here in this part you can see different method of data inputs. The one is data from electronic sources. In this process, text from newspapers, journals, magazines, books are included if these are found in electronic form. Okay, here we use the electronic form of newspapers, journals, magazines, books, and etc. Another is data from the websites. This includes text from web pages, websites, and home pages. Their name denotes their content. Data from emails. Electronic typewriting, emails, etc. are also used as source of data. Electronic typewriting, emails, etc. are also used as source of data. Machine reading of text. It converts printed text into machine readable form by way of optical character recognition or OCR system. Using this method, printed materials are quickly entered into a corpus. Another way is manual data input. It is done through typing text in computer. This is best means for data collection from handwritten materials, transcriptions of spoken text, and old manuscripts. Okay, here we are dealing with the manual data input, which is done through the typing text in computer, which means the data collection from the handwritten materials, transcription of spoken text, and old manuscripts. The process of data input is indirectly based on the method of text sampling. We can use 2 pages after every 10 pages from a book. This makes a corpus best representative of data stored in a physical text. For instance, if a book has several chapters, each chapter containing different subject matters written by different writers, then the text samples collected in this process from all chapters are properly represented. Each text file should have a header which contains metadata, the physical information about the text, such as genre of text like literature, science, commerce, technology, engineering, and etc. Type of text, which is literature, story, travelogue, humor, etc. Subtype of text, which is fiction, historical, social, biographical, science fiction, etc. Name of book, name of the authors, name of the editor, year of publication, edition number, name of the publisher, place of publication, number of pages taken from for input, and etc. This information is required for maintaining records and solving copyright problems. Okay, we should put this data in each for header of each metadata for each corpus. Okay. It is also advantageous to keep details, records of the material so that the texts are identified on the grounds other than those which are selected as formative of corpus. Information whether the text is a piece of fiction or non-fiction, book, journal, or newspaper, formal or informal, etc. are useful for both linguistic and non-linguistic studies. At time of input of text, the original text of the physical source must be kept unchanged. After a paragraph is entered, one blank line should be given before a new paragraph starts. When texts are collected in a random sampling manner, a unique mark of or flag is needed to be posted as the beginning of a new sample of text. Hardware requirement. For developing the TDIL corpus, we use a personal computer or PC with a gist or transcript card or TC, a software namely the script processor or SP, a monitor, one conventional computer keyboard, a multilingual printer, and some floppy diskettes. Text files are developed with the help of the TC installed in the PC. This allows the display of various Indian scripts on a computer screen in a very convenient manner. The codes of various characters used for the Indian scripts are standardized by the Bureau of Indian Standard, Gov of Indian. With installation of this card inside the PC, one can access almost the entire range of text-oriented application packages. One can also input and retrieve data in Indian languages with the help of this card. Okay, this is the advantages of this card. The software also provides a choice between 2 operational display modes on the monitor. One is conventional English mode and other is Indian multilingual mode. Management of data files. Corpus data management is indeed a tedious task. It involves various related tasks such as holding, storing, processing, screening, and retrieving information from the corpus, which require utmost care and sincerity on the part of corpus creators. Once a corpus file is created and stored in a computer, one needs schemes for its regular maintenance and augmentation. There are always some errors to be corrected, some modification to be made, and some adjustment to be made, and some improvement to be implemented. The adaptation to new hardware and software technology and the change in requirements of the users are also to be taken care of. In addition to this, there has to be constant vigilance on the retrieval task, as well as on the processing and analytic tools to be applied on the corpus. At present, the computer technology is developed to such an extent that executing this task with full satisfaction is no more a dream. But this solicits for more care in handling of the digital databases, since we know that the more powerful weapon we have in our hands, the more care is needed in their use and application to avoid unwanted damage on the resource. Corpus Sanitation. The process of corpus sanitation begins like text editing after the texts are produced in electronic form. Generally, 5 types of error may occur at time of manual data entry, like omission of character, addition of character, repetition of character, substitution of a character, and transposition of character. To remove spelling errors, we need to thoroughly check the corpus and compare it with the actual physical data source and do manual correction. Care has to be taken to ensure that the spelling of words used in the corpus must resemble with the spelling of words used in the source text. Also, it has to be checked if words are changed, repeated, or omitted. Punctuation marks are properly used, lines are properly maintained, and separate paragraphs are made for each text. Besides error correction, we have to verify the omission of foreign words, quotation, dialectical form, etc. After generation of a corpus, the naturalized foreign words are, however, allowed to enter into the corpus. Others should be omitted. Dialectical variation are allowed. Punctuation marks and transliterated words are faithfully reproduced. Usually, books on natural and social sciences contain more foreign words, phrases, and sentences than books of story and fiction. Similarly, quotation from other languages, poems, science, mathematical expression, chemical formula, geometric diagram, images, tables, pictures, figures, flowcharts, and similar symbolic representations of a source text are not entered into corpus. All kinds of processing and reference work becomes easier and authentic if corpus is properly edited and errors are removed. Okay, what about the problem of copyright? In each paragraph, you just should to point the important notes, not all of the information in the paragraph. Okay, about the problem of copyright. To be in the safe side, we need clearance of copyright from all copyright holders, publishers, and the authors and speakers for spoken text. Copyright laws are quite complicated. There is very little which is obviously right or wrong, illegal or illegal. Moreover, copyright problems differ in various countries. If one uses the material only for personal use, then there is no problem. This is fine note, not only for a single individual but also for a group of scholars who are working together on some areas of research and investigation. So long it is not directly used for a commercial purpose, there is no problem to get copyright permission for the text to be stored in a corpus. However, using materials, one can generate new tools and systems to commercialize. In that case, also the copyright is not violated. The reformed generation of output provides safeguard against possible attacks from the copyright holders. But in the case of direct commercial work, we must have prior permission from the legal copyright holders. Another matter is corpus processing. The need for corpus processing arises after the generation of corpus. Okay. The need for corpus processing arises after the generation of a corpus. We need to devise systems, tools, techniques, and software for assessing the language data and for extracting relevant information from the corpus. Corpus processing is indispensable not only for mainstream linguistic research and development activities, but also for language technology works. There are various corpus processing techniques such as statistical analysis, concordance, lexical collection, keyword search, local word grouping, limitation, morphological processing, generation, chunking, word processing, part of speech tagging, annotation, parsing, etc. It has been observed that the results obtained from the corpus processing often contradict intuition about a language and its properties. There are many corpus processing software available for English, French, German, and similar other languages. For the Indian languages, however, there are only a few. We need to design corpus processing tools for our own languages, given the nature of Indian languages in mind. Here I discuss in brief some well-known corpus processing techniques and tools actively used in English and other European languages. I describe this with close reference to English. Reference to Bengali and other Indian languages are made as and when necessary. Okay, for the corpus processing, as we told you, there are various corpus processing techniques like statistical analysis, concordance, lexical collection, keyword search, local word grouping, lemmatization, morphological processing and generation, chunking, word processing, parts of speech tagging, annotation, parsing, etc. It has been observed that the results obtained from corpus processing often contradict intuition about the language and its properties. But about the frequency count. Linguistics is a subject which has a long relationship with statistics and mathematics. Mathematical linguistics, computational linguistics, corpus linguistics, applied linguistics, forensic linguistics, stylometrics, and etc. requires different statistical and quantitative results obtained from natural language corpus. Without adequate knowledge of statistical information about different properties of a language, we can make mistakes in handling linguistic data as well as in observation. The corpus can be subject to both quantitative and qualitative analysis. The corpus can be subject to both quantitative and qualitative analysis. In quantitative analysis, we classify different linguistic properties or features of a particular language, count them, and even construct more complex statistical models in an attempt to explain what is observed. It allows us to discover which phenomena are likely to be genuine reflections of the behaviors of a language or a variety, and which are merely chance occurrence. On the other hand, qualitative analysis aims at providing a complete and detailed description of the observed phenomena obtained from the corpus by quantitative analysis. It allows a finer distinction to be drawn because it is not necessary to show her data into a finite set of classification. Both quantitative and qualitative analysis have something to contribute to corpus study. However, results obtained from quantitative analysis are less rich than results obtained from qualitative analysis. There are different statistical approaches to achieve this goal. Okay, here you can see some statistical approaches to the frequency count. Simple descriptive statistical approach. Simple descriptive statistical approach enables us to summarize the most important properties of the observed data. Okay, in this method, which is the descriptive statistical approach, we should be able to summarize the most important properties of observed data. Inferential statistical approach uses information from descriptive statistical approach to answer the questions or to formulate hypotheses. Evaluative statistical approach enables to test whether a hypothesis is supported by evidence in data and how the mathematical model or theoretical distributions of data relates to reality. To perform comparisons, one can also apply the multivariate statistical techniques like factor analysis, multidimensional scaling, cluster analysis, log linear models to extract hidden patterns from raw frequency data obtained from a corpus. Another matter is word sorting. Words stored in a corpus can be sorted in two ways. Words stored in a corpus can be sorted in two ways. The process of numerical sorting is the most straightforward approach to work with quantitative data. Okay, in the quantitative data, one process is the numerical sorting. Here items are classified according to the particular scheme, and arithmetical count is made on the number of items within the text, which belong to each class in a scheme. Information available from simple frequency counts are rendered either in alphabetic or numerical order. Another way is alphabetical order. Both the lists can again be arranged in ascending or in descending order according to our requirement. By anyone who is studying a text will like to know how often each different item occur in it. A frequency list of words is a set of clues to text. By examining the list, we get an idea about the structure of text and can plan an investigation accordingly. On the other hand, the alphabetically sorted word list is used for simple general references. A frequency list is alphabetic. In alphabetic order plays a secondary role because it is used only when there is a need to check frequency of a particular item. However, it is useful as an object of a study as it is often helpful in formulating hypotheses to be tested, in checking assumptions that have been made before Yelmer. Before we initiate frequency counting on the Indian language corpora, we need to take decisions about the process of dealing with the characters, words, idioms, phrases, clauses, and sentences used in the corpus. This will restrain us from false observations and wrong deduction about the various linguistic properties of a language. Another matter is concordance. The process of concordance refers to making an index to words used in corpus. Concordance means making an index to words used in a corpus. We have index in the end of each book. It is a collection of occurrence of words, each in its own textual environment. Okay, here define the index, which is a collection of occurrences of words, each in its own textual environment. Each word is indexed with reference to the place of its occurrences in the text. It is indispensable strategy because it gives access to many important languages patterns in the text. It provides information not accessible via intuition. There are some concordance software available for analyzing corpus, like monocount for sorting and frequency. Here you can see some software for concordance. Monocount for sorting and frequency. Paracount for parallel text processing. Conc for sorting and frequency counting. Free text for processing, sorting, etc. Concordance is most frequently used for lexicographical works and for language teachings. One can use it to search out a single as well as multi-word strings, word phrases, idioms, proverbs, etc. It is also used to study lexical, semantic, syntactic patterns, text patterns, genre studies, and style patterns of text. It is an excellent tool for investigating words and morphemes which are polysemous and have multiple functions in a language. Okay, the final title here in this session is Lexical Collection. I will review this session in two future sessions. The next session, not in next session, after the session 4, I will review the session 3 and 4 together in one session, which is your 6th session. Method of collocation on words helps to understand the rule and the position of word in a text. Okay, method of collocation on words help to understand the rule and position of words in a text. Collocation means two words which comes together. Like for example, the collocation of a mistake is make a mistake. For decision is make a decision. We call them as collocation. Method of collocation on words help to understand the role and position of word in a text. Our traditional linguistic description and hypotheses are challenged by new evidences accumulated from the Corpus Sanitation collocation. Recent work on lexicography in 1998 shows that for many common words, the most frequent meaning is not the one that first comes to our mind and that takes place in dictionaries. Thus, it helps to determine which pairs of words have a substantial collocational relationship between themselves. It compares the probability of two words occurring together as an event with the probability that they are simply the result of chance. For each pair of words, a score is given. The higher is the score, the greater is the collocational ability of the word. Okay, pay attention to this point, that for each pair of words, score is given. We will give a score to each pair of words. The higher is the score, the greater is the collocational ability of each word. It enables to extract a multi-word unit from a corpus to use in lexicography and technical translation. It also helps to group similar words together to identify sense variation, like riverbank, which is a landscape. Investment in bank. Here you can see some collocation which they have a special meaning. For example, riverbank means landscape. Here, riverbank are two collocation which their meaning is not choose between their own words. For example, riverbank is not river and not bank, and both of them refers to landscape. We call them as collocation. But in investment in bank is financial use. It helps in discriminating differences in usage between the words, which are similar in meaning. For instance, strong collocates with motherly, showing believers, current, supporter, adore, while powerful collocates with tool, minority, neighbor, symbol, figure, weapon, pause. Okay, here you can see two examples of collocation, which these discriminating differences in usage between the words which are similar in meaning. Okay, strong and powerful are similar in the meaning, but they have different collocated parts. Strong the collocates with the motherly, showing, liver, current, supporter, and other, but powerful, which has the same meaning as strong, has different collocates, which comes with the tool, minority, neighbor, symbol, figure, weapon, and pause. Such information about delicate differences in collocation between the two similar words has an important role in helping students to learn a language in a better way. The information about collocations of various linguistic items like words, moves, idioms is important for dictionary writing. NLP works the matching translation besides language education. However, it is not easy to determine which co-occurrence is a significant collocation, especially if one is not a native speaker of a language or a language variety. Okay, this title the matter of lexical collocation was the final title of this lesson. I want to just review the title of this session, and I will explain them and review them in session 6. And I will give you just the important point in each paragraph. About we discuss about the selection of time span, which we told you that you should determine your time period because it is important for text material. Selection of text type, which it should be from the different the branches of the human knowledge. Method of data sampling, which can be random, regular, selective, according to our purpose in data collecting is different, and each type of knowledge has its own special method. Method of data input, which can be from the electronic source, website, email, recording text, manual data input, which we explained them. Hardware requirement, management of data files, Corpus Sanitation, which we told you that Corpus Sanitation means Corpus text editing, which comes after the text which produced in the electronic form, and we maybe have 5 types of error: emission of character, addition of character, repetition, substitution, and transportation of the character, which will give you some way to remove this error. Problem of copyright, which explain it, which copyright is very complicated process which has its right in each country. Corpus processing, which we told you some information about the processing of the corpus. Frequency count, which we gives you some weights like quantitative, qualitative, and the goal for frequency count. Word sorting, which can be alphabetic or numerical, and we explained them. Concordance, which is related and deal with index, which indexes the collocation of occurrence of the words in the textual environment, which we gives you some software. We introduce you some software for analyzing of corpus and concordance. Lexical collocation. Okay, this was the last title of this session, which I will review them in session 6.